Hello, everybody. Welcome to Faith International, your channel for faith, motivation, and
Inspiration.
I'm Patrick Kelly.
And I'm Nicola Kelly.
And we're delighted to provide this channel. It's a new channel that we've created to be an extension of our ministry of motivation and inspiration, self-development, progress, just to help you to grow in your walk and to share some things with you that will help you to become better at what you do and in your understanding of God. So we've got a great beginning lesson for you today from a sermon that I preached a few weeks back. We've taken several clips from it on how to emerge, how to come into being, how to break out. The Lord put in my spirit that for 2023 is going to be a breakout year. So how does that happen? Well, there's a lesson in 2 Kings when the city of Samaria was under siege and famine set in, and it all seemed like there was going to be a tragedy that was compounded by the fact that there was no food coming in. But four unlikely heroes, four lepers sitting at the gate, become these instruments of blessing, not only for themselves, but for the entire city. And there's some lessons that they teach that will show us how to emerge or how to experience breakout in our individual lives and the things that we're aspiring to or the things that we plan to do in 2023. So let's take a look at this brief clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Again, this is Faith International, your channel for faith, motivation, and inspiration. We'll be right back.
And as we consider these lepers, they were at a decided disadvantage in life. They couldn't work, they couldn't support themselves, they couldn't be with family, they were on the outskirts of society. They were on the lowest rung of the social order. They were disadvantaged, they were disenfranchised, they were utterly dependent upon others for their existence. And isn't it true that sometimes in life we can be at a disadvantage? We can find ourselves disenfranchised. We can sometimes find ourselves dependent upon others for our existence and our survival. This was the identity of these leprous men, but the lesson they teach us is one of potential, because despite the disadvantage of their identity, the truth is that they were individuals that still had ability. They had ability. They had perhaps not the physical ability, but their minds were still able to function. Their minds were still able to work. Their minds still possessed some creative ability to address the situation. And oftentimes, even though we may be disadvantaged in the various means, physically or socially or maybe even financially, God has invested all of us with potential and this creative ability that resides in our minds. Much of the things that we enjoy in life and many of the things that are achieved began with an idea. Many accomplishments, many inventions, many achievements all began with an idea in the mind. So I may be disadvantaged physically, but as long as I have my mind, I still have the potential to bring transformation in my life. And even as believers, the Bible encourages us. Paul in Philippians chapter 4 is reflecting upon his life and how sometimes he's high and other times he's low. There are times when he enjoys great abundance, and there are other times where he is flirting with poverty. But he says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Somehow God has given us the ability and the potential to still find a way to survive and to thrive despite our identity that may be at a disadvantage and despite our perceived inabilities. God created all of us with potential.
Wow, babe. What a tremendous lesson that was on potential. It's something that is so important, because most of the times we don't think about our potential. We focus on our problems, our difficulties, maybe the stigma of our identities. You know, I'm a minority, or I'm in a lower class, or flirting with poverty, whatever the situation may be. But the truth is that all of us have potential. It doesn't matter what your situation, doesn't matter what your identity. Doesn't matter what your difficulties or challenges may be. Who better than four lepers? What can four lepers do? They're handicapped, they're restricted, they're not only disenfranchised but disengaged really from society because they weren't allowed to be a normal part of society. So they're on the outskirts, if you will, and yet and still they tap into their potential and become the unlikely heroes in what could have been a serious tragedy in the city of Samaria. And they teach us that all of us have been given by God potential. You've got some expressions of potential in terms of the dictionary. Share some of those with us.
Sure, Bishop. Potential, latent ability, untapped power, unrealized capacity, and unfulfilled destiny.
Wow. You know, the two that I really like are untapped power.
Yeah.
That means we all have it. It's there. We might not be aware of it. We might not have been able to access it, but it is there. It's lying dormant. It is untapped. And then unfulfilled destiny.
Wow.
Now that's powerful. That means we're supposed to exercise it. We're supposed to develop, cultivate, express that potential, and it propels us into our destiny. And again, these lepers in 2 Kings chapter 7 seem like they were relegated to a life of misery, a life of humiliation and poverty because of their situation. But they were able to tap into their potential and change their situation. Now they have resources. Now they become agents of help to an entire city. And they teach us that it doesn't matter what your obstacles are, you have potential. Search it, discover it, nurture it, express it, because you have potential. I'm looking forward to the next lesson because there's more from this story of these lepers, more lessons that they teach us. But I hope you'll consider this one about potential and think about it. What is your potential? What is it that you can do? You know, you've got a mind that is really untapped in terms of your ability to create and to cultivate and to aspire and to achieve.
And your capacity.
You have the capacity to do it. So sometimes it's not about what others may conclude about your situation, but just exploring your ability. A lot of the things, as I pointed out in the message, that we enjoy are because of ideas that occurred in our mind. So your dream, your desire, your aspiration, listen, tap into that. You have got a source of potential that if you tap into it can create something great for your life. So please explore your potential and learn how to emerge, to come into being, and you will experience a breakout year. Again, we hope that you enjoyed it and hope you'll tune in for the next one. In fact, if you like this one, like it, share it. We'd love for you to subscribe. We have plans to grow this channel and bring even more exciting and engaging content, again, to help your spiritual and personal development and growth and walk with God, because we are Faith International, sharing faith, motivation,
and inspiration.
I'm Patrick Kelly, my wife Nicola.
And I'm Nicola Kelly, and don't forget to click that little notification button. We love you.
We love you. See you next time.
Bye-bye.